Welcome back. This is Tom Kubistant again in the second video of the 200 level series of performing at your best. Hopefully, if you viewed the video 201, you have an idea of where we are going. Particularly in this video, I want to talk to you about what the Aussies call that little voice in your head. You know what it is, that little voice that puts yourself down, has arguments within different elements of yourself, creates fear or doubts. Sometimes, even though we would like to be our own best friends and best supporters, we're our own worst enemies. So we're going to talk about how to make those enemies your friends. It's a simple and effective process. Before we go into that, I want to share with you a reading from Theodore Roosevelt. Excuse the outdated language. He made this speech at the dawn of the 20th century, 120 odd years ago. He calls it the man in the arena. He said this: "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, who knows great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails with doing greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." You are your own best chance for performing well. In essence, you are your own personal human performance lab. There are so many elements involved in this. No doubt you understand this already. You are the person in charge. There may be teachers, coaches, teammates that want to give you suggestions, want to be on your side. You first have to be on your own side. You are in charge of yourself, even if you're a member of an orchestra or some kind of team or performing troupe. You have to be on your side. When I was in private practice in a really good counseling and marriage and family therapist, our director of that practice was a fellow by the name of Dr. Jerry Nims. And Jerry was fond of saying this: "What would you do if someone on the street came up to you and told you all those negative things you tell yourself? What would you do?" He went on to say, "You wouldn't take it from them. So why are you taking it from you?" How about friends or family members who do know you? What would you do if they kept on telling you all those negative things you do tell yourself? You would be hurt and angry. Why are you taking it from them? Why are you taking this from yourself? It is very simple. We are either our best friend, our best ally, best supporter in our self-talk, or we are our worst enemy who puts ourselves down. I'm sure you've all felt this, of an inner monologue that questions yourself or says outright, "I can't do that. I have no right to be here in this situation. I'm a fraud." You know that stuff. "I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of being embarrassed." You know that stuff. Who keeps on saying, "This is worthless, this is useless, and as such, I'm useless." Man, some of the self-talk, the negative put-downs we tell ourselves about ourselves or about our situations we're in. Have you ever had somebody say, "Well, just think positive"? That does not work, especially with a core of negativity, of self-put-downs, of fears, anxieties. Anything positive just slips right off. I'm going to share with you how to better understand and do something about your negative self-talk and how to transform that into positive self-talk. Are you ready? Once you are aware of how you're putting yourselves down, that is a great start. Don't, though, say, don't do that, you dummy. That just exacerbates the problem. In the early days of modern psychotherapy, there was a professor by the name of Dr. Albert Ellis who created a theory and a psychotherapy called rational emotive therapy, which is one of the foundations today of cognitive behavioral therapy. And he was a nice, reclusive, even shy man who was brilliant, sometimes had problems communicating his theories. He said this, particularly about our self-talk. He says, the consequences we think are due to the activating event. The negative results we think are due to the pressure of the event, the stress of the event, what we put on ourselves. He said, no, the consequences are not due to the activating event. They are due to our belief systems, what we believe, and more specifically, what we tell ourselves about ourselves or about the situations we're in that creates the negative consequences. Does that make sense? That it's what you tell yourself. Have you ever seen somebody who thrives under pressure, who excels under pressure, where other people choke or fold or give flat performances? What makes the difference quite often is what we tell ourselves about ourselves or about the situations we're in. Right now, all of you are viewing this. Admit, how many of you are bad at math, bad at mathematics? Yeah, most of us say we will. And let me ask you this, how long have you been telling yourself that garbage? If you went back to the root antecedent cause or memory of that belief that you are bad at math, it could go all the way back to a second grade subtraction test where you didn't study well enough, or you didn't have any sleep, or you put too much sugar on your Cocoa Puffs in the morning and were having a sugar low and you flunked the subtraction test. Here's what we started doing to ourselves then. We started steamrolling, generalizing by saying things like this. Oops, I flunked this subtraction test. That must mean I'm bad at all subtraction, which means I am, and since subtraction is the opposite of addition, I must be bad at addition too. And since addition and subtraction make the foundations of multiplication and divisions and fractions and decimal points and logarithms, I must be bad at math. It's just not in my genes to be good at math. Ever since you created that belief in second grade that you're bad at math, here's what's been happening. In every mathematical situation you've encountered since then, a little bit of the wiring of your brain goes out to prove that old belief that you're bad at math. So the brain and body, being trusting organisms, seeks to prove those beliefs. And so you fail at the next mathematical situation. You say to yourself, see, I'm bad at math. I'm useless at math. And it just reinforces those connections of that, what Albert Ellis called that irrational belief that you're bad at math. Most of our limitations are self-imposed limitations, that we don't believe in ourselves, we don't apply ourselves properly. What Ellis did say then is, after you become aware and accepting that just your beliefs about this activating situation that causes the bad consequences, he says simply learn, you can guess, what to do about that. And that he calls learning how to dispute your negative put-downs. Learn how to challenge those negative put-downs. Actively have an argument and dispute and challenge those things, saying, who says I choke all the time? I'm my best chance at it. I am capable at becoming better in my performance area or even math. Coming up with 3 or 4 or 5 challenges to your irrational beliefs, those negative put downs, you'll start seeing how quickly they become absurd, how quickly you become aware that you're becoming your worst enemy. And by challenging these things, you start to seeing these things shatter. These negative self-talk have been so powerful in you because you've been saying them for so long, you're not even aware that you're telling yourself these things anymore. And that's where they hold their power. By consciously disputing and challenging some of these negative self-put down, self-talk, then you start seeing them shatter. You start seeing the absurdity of them. You start seeing the reality that they are not all powerful or all enduring. And from that, he said, you start gaining some new effects. My sophisticated audiovisual tool there. It's not the activating event. It's what you tell yourself about yourself in the situation that creates it. Being aware of that you have control of what kind of self-talk you give yourselves. A lot of times I'll work with an athlete or performing artist before a performance, and they'll say, oh, I dread this, or I'm going to choke. I'm going to embarrass myself. I'm going to let down my teammates. You go into a performance with those kinds of fears, doubts, anxieties, and you're just going to ensure that those occur. So what we do is we go through that process days or weeks before that, so they start learning in their practices or their rehearsals that they can, once they're aware of their self-limiting monologues or dialogues, they start learning how to dispute those, to challenge those, and then they're ready to start replacing that negative self-talk with positive self-talk. Now, positive self-talk is not new age, metaphysical, mystical stuff. Positive self-talk is you learning how to redirect your energies after you shatter the negative self-talk and redirecting those to positive situations. Now, positive self-talk often take the forms of affirmations. Affirmations are not wishes, nor hopes, nor expectations for future performances. No, affirmations, as well as all positive self-talk, reaffirms or confirms what you currently possess. In essence, we're building on reality. In essence, we're building on our strengths, what we do well, instead of having fears and doubts and insecurities and negativity define us. We're having affirmations, confirmations, positivity define us. Makes sense. And it makes all the difference in the world. As you start shattering by disputing and challenging that and those negative self-put downs, and there are many of them, and many of them are interrelated with other ones. They are devious in their connections. After you start identifying them individually and coming up with 4, 5, 6 challenges or disputes for each one of those, then you're in a position then to replace them with the positive self-talk. And there are 3 general categories of positive affirmations. First, there are basic affirmations. Then there are activity-specific affirmations. And then thirdly, there are process affirmations, the things you tell yourself during the actual performance. Let's go through each one of these. Again, after you've disputed, challenged, disrupted those negative put downs and seeing them shatter, now you can redirect the energy that has been going to putting yourself down to building yourself up by 3 different categories of affirmations. And these are just basic ones. We'll start out with the basics. And you may want to write some other ones down in each category that fits for you. Here's one. This goes all the way back to the 1890s when a French pharmacist by the name of Emile Couillet used this basic affirmation. You've probably heard this. Every day, in every way, I am better and better. How about more Generalized basic affirmations. I like myself. I love myself. I accept myself. I surprise myself. I trust myself. I believe in myself. Be here now. I can do it. I forgive myself. How often are we the first to forgive others, but the last to forgive ourselves? I am on my own side. Remember the old quote, I am the captain of my ship. I am the master of my destiny. These basic affirmations set the foundation for us learning how to have some positive monologues or dialogues with ourselves. Spend some time writing down some other ones, basic affirmations that come to your mind right now as it applies to you and your performance area. Go ahead. Scribble those down. It doesn't matter the form they're coming out with right now. We'll talk about the form later. These are great basic affirmations, ones that we need to be telling ourselves all the day long, not just in our performance area. I accept myself. It is what it is. I can do this. I can do anything I choose to do. I believe in myself. I trust myself. I accept myself. I love myself. Okay. Let's go on to the second one. These are specific activity related affirmations, things that are related to your performance area. I'll say this with athletes, but performing artists, business people, students can put in some other ones. These are adjectives. I am a positive athlete. I am a focused athlete. I am a confident athlete. All right. You're reaffirming the personal qualities and characteristics of yourselves that you're implementing into your performance area. I am persistent. I am a consistent athlete. I am a courageous athlete. I am an ever improving athlete. I am a joyful athlete. I am purposeful. I am a mentally tough athlete. I am prepared. I am fit. I am honorable. I am a good teammate. I am a gutty, competitive athlete. I am a strong athlete. I am a centered athlete. I am a responsive or adaptive athlete. I am a relaxed athlete. Come up with some other adjectives of specific qualities of yourself that you have currently right now, not the ones you would like to be. That's way down the road. But reinforce, confirm, affirm those qualities of your performance area. I am a diligent cello player. I am an adaptive rodeo rider. Okay. Come up with the qualities and be specific as you can of those personality, character qualities that you do possess, and learn how to build on those. When we talk about building on your strengths, you first have to know what your strengths are. And these activity-specific affirmations fit the bill. So the first category of the affirmations were the basic affirmations. I like myself. I can do anything I choose to do every day, in every way. I am better and better. The second one was adjectives that reinforce specific current qualities you have about yourself, whether it's a business person or a student or an artist or a teacher or an athlete or some kind of performing artist. Reinforce those specific character qualities you bring to that you currently possess. I am consistent. I am creative. I am adaptive. I am strong. I am courageous. Say those things. The third type are what I call process affirmations. Those things you might tell yourself during the process that remind you of what you need to do. And these are usually a single word or a couple words that are soft sounding words. These are ones like flow, yes, easy, natural, rhythm, soft, full, clear, through, nice, now, form, deep. These are things you tell yourself during the actual activity to remind you of that you are in some kind of rhythm or flow where everything's connected. Now, some of these elements are could be combinations of them. When I work with golfers about their putting, sometimes I use the combination words of stroll your putts, S-T-R-O-L-L, stroke it and roll it. When I used to work with weightlifters, competitive weightlifters, and bodybuilders, we would call the word stroft, strong and soft. So you can make up your own words that reinforce telling yourself these things. Now, here is a fancy word that some of you may know, but you don't know how it is in human performance. It's called cue. No, it's not a pull cue. And even though it's pronounced the same, it's not what the British call a queue, Q-U-E, a line of waiting people. This is a cue of a single word or couple words that are a representation of things that combine it. Too often we have so many specific applications or emphases in what we do, we forget them. So if you can come up with a single word, which is a cue that you trust yourself, that it is a series of a representation of a series of connected skills, you can just say that. Right now, the cue I have, a swing cue I have in my golf swing is finish the backswing. I know if I finish it, take the time, having the patience to do that, that cue of finishing it is a combination of my rhythm, of body positions, of hand positions, and all of that fits under the one cue called finishing. Is there something you can come up with, that one word or a couple words during your process affirmations, that is a combination of things? Sometimes you may want to even create an acronym. An acronym is a short word that each one of the letters reflects one of the specific emphases. Here, I've showed you this before in the 100 level series. How to create your own sense of calm. Looking at all the C's to create your sense of calm. Then looking at all the A's that help yourself create your own sense of calm. Then looking at your L's, creating your own sense of calm. And then M's. And if you can create your own acronym for calm, you know that those things can fit and represent what you need to emphasize. Instead of emphasizing a lot of specific things, you can just say, I am calm. The same thing goes with another neat performance acronym of DEEP. How deep can you go into yourself, into the performance? What's your D? What's your E? What's your other E? And what's your P? If you can start saying, I'm deeply into myself, you know the specifics that you're emphasizing. So these positive affirmations affirm or confirm what you potentially and presently possess. They are not wishes or hopes. You'll hear me saying I am instead of I hope or I will. That stuff's in the future. You don't have control of that. Affirmations affirm or confirm what you already possess, whether they're basic affirmations, activity-specific affirmations, or process affirmations in terms of specific words or combinations of words or cues that represent bigger things. These are things to tell yourself on an ongoing basis, especially the basic affirmations, to tell yourself as you're preparing for an important performance or even before every rehearsal or practice. To tell yourself the activity-specific ones, and during the performance, experiment with saying to yourself these process affirmations, these things that helps you stay connected with the rhythm, with the flow, with the unfolding of the performance. soft sounding words usually, or cues that are representations of all the things you can do. As you start working on each of these, start out with the basic affirmations. Start out with that for a couple days and start creating your own process or basic affirmations. And then spend a couple days with specific activity affirmations, things to tell yourself before the activity to reinforce that, to help redirect your doubts or fears. And then learn during different types of practices, and then increasingly important performances, say and rely on specific process affirmations or cues or acronyms that relate to bigger, more complex elements. You will find out very easily as you spend a couple, 2-3 days on each one of these categories of affirmations, basic, activity specific, and process affirmations. You start finding the energy. After you've challenged and redirect your negative put downs, you're starting to learn how to do your build ups. As important it is to challenge those negative put downs, let them shatter. As important it is to know the different categories of affirmations, basic, activity specific, and process affirmations, it's important to learn how to construct those affirmations. Remember, affirmations affirm what you currently possess in the moment. Whenever you use the words, I will, those aren't affirmations. Those are things they're hoping for in the future, wishes and hopes. No, affirmations are usually with the words, I am. Or the basic affirmations affirm what you currently possess. So here's some things to remember in creating your own powerful affirmations. First, make sure you have redirected all your negative self-put downs, all your negative self-statements. Trying to be positive, remember, on top of a core of negativity or fear or doubt, that positivity just slips right off. It doesn't work. Make sure you become aware and confront, shatter those negative put downs, and now you're in a position to replace them with positive self-talk. The best way to do that is achieve a nice, relaxed state and a centered, calm state of mind before you start creating and repeating your positive affirmations. Thirdly, construct your affirmations in a positive manner. Makes sense. Without any kind of qualifications or exceptions or negatives. For example, say I am a focused and persistent athlete. Instead of on every second Tuesday when everything's been going well and I've eaten well, sometimes I don't suck, kind of. Make affirmations positive about the things you currently possess. Anytime you say qualifications, I'm kind of okay with that. There's no power in that. Every time you say I have an exception, when I have good supportive teammates, then I can do it okay. Or using any double negatives. I don't suck today. Make your affirmations positive, fully positive. Fourthly, construct your affirmations in the present tense, usually beginning them with I am. The here and now are the only things I can control. I am a persistent speaker. I am a creative student. I am a purposeful harp player. I am an adaptive baseball player. Say those things with the words I am, which confirms what you already possess. Sure, you can do it better in the future, and that's by building on the present and accepting where you are in the present and building upon them. And then fifthly, continually repeat these affirmations, refine those affirmations, and after a while, you start feeling that power that you're saying to yourself. It's just not a cognitive process, affirmations. They are an emotional process. Feel the power, feel the pride, feel the acceptance of these affirmations. They have great power within them. Does this make sense? You know how destructive your self-talk is to you. And it's just not combating those, coping with those. That's not good enough. You can conquer your negative put-downs by the ABCDE process, learning that you're in charge of yourself. You are the person in the arena. You're the only one you have to answer to in the arena. Learning how to confront those negative put-downs, seeing how really fragile they are, then you're in a position to reaffirm yourself, confirm what you currently possess by affirmations, by positive self-talk. Basic affirmations, activity-specific affirmations, qualities you possess, and thirdly, process affirmations, whether they are acronyms or cues that are representations of all the positive things you have that you say to yourself during the performance. These make the world of difference. You start believing in yourself. You start trusting yourself. You start becoming more responsive and adaptive. And these affirmations, the positive self-talk, really do connect with your feelings. When you start feeling the power of your acceptance, when you start feeling the power of your positivity, when you start feeling the power of your concentration or determination, you start integrating yourself. You are either on your side or you're against yourself. There is no place in the middle. And the way to get on your side is to be aware of your self-talk and make it as positive and as realistic of your self-talk as you can. Practice some of these things. Replay this video, and you shall see the power of positive self-talk. Thank you.